Alright, so the Detroit Lions 2025 NFL draft class, how's it looking right now for all the Detroit Lions fans? If you have seen my recent two shorts that I've posted, um, my reactions have not been positive to say the least. And a lot of Lions fans, it's been this way. Um, I could not make a video last night. I was physically, mentally not able to do it. I lost my mind. I lost my mind on day 2 of the draft tonight as well, but I specifically lost my mind on day 1 of the NFL draft. I popped a gasket. We took a guy like Tyleik Williams at pick 28, one a guy like Mike Green, Donovan Ezraku, a couple more guys, Josh Simmons, even Will Johnson maybe. You could even throw in there. Was I considering it? Absolutely not taking Will Johnson. But it would have been better than this pick right here. Now my top 5 needs heading in for the Detroit Lions this off into the draft was defensive end, safety, guard, linebacker, or excuse me, wide receiver and linebacker. And then the one just outside that was defensive tackle. So the Detroit Lions with 28th pick, they decided to go with Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle from Ohio State. Now, Tyleik Williams, very nice guy. Don't get me wrong, very nice guy. He definitely fits this. Actually, Ohio State's defensive line coach compares him to Aaron Donald. So that's a very big comparison to live up to say the least. This guy was 360 pounds when he entered college. He's dropped all the way down to 334. So shout out to Tyleik Williams. But he's in an interesting. He can play the 3 gap and everything. He's 6'3", 334. He can stop the run. This is what I got from Tyleik Williams. So I already watched the guy's film. He was 5th on my board for defensive tackles. Um, I was not as high on guys like Derek Harmon and Tyleik Williams as a lot of people were, especially Derek Harmon. A lot of people, a lot of people really like Derek Harmon. They were like, if he's sitting there at pick 28, Brad has to take him, and I think he would have if he was sitting there. I was personally not. I had him more as an early round 2 talent. I had Tyleik Williams more as a mid to late second round talent. Tyleik Williams, what I got from his film, watching him the first time, he was okay at everything. Didn't really stand out on anything. Maybe he was slightly above average at stopping the run, but he just seemed about average in every single category the first time I watched him. Now, today, um, when I had some time, I watched film for about 20-25 minutes today of just Tyleik Williams. Um, I literally got the same takeaways from, and this was a different film, by the way, as well. He is just okay, maybe slightly above average in certain categories, but mostly just average in every single category. In the run game, average. Pass game, average. Pass rush win rate, average for a defensive tackle. It's just he is average in every single thing. So we're gonna be going over his draft profile. We'll go over his stats. So this is. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is the draft where I have paid the most attention to ever. I've never paid attention to this draft the most ever in my life. I studied probably for watching NFL draft film for at least 10 hours. No question. I watched at least 10 hours of draft film from defensive ends, safeties, wide receivers, linebackers, defensive tackles, offensive guards. So I watched at least 10 hours of film this NFL draft, probably slightly over that. And defensive ends and defensive tackles were two of my most, even though I didn't really think we needed a defensive tackle. Specifically watching the pass rush defensive tackles, but I watched enough at Tyleik Williams to get a full aspect of him. Now, I'm going to go ahead and grade this pick. Actually, no, we'll save it for later. Stick to the end to see the grade. It's not a good grade. If you follow my Twitter, you already know what the grade is for the pick for me. But Tyleik Williams, this is NFL Network's draft grade for him. It's a 6.35, which will eventually be a plus starter in the National Football League. He has a 80 overall grade. As a production score, he has a 77 athleticism score, which is 10th among defensive tackles, and 80th total score, which is third among defensive tackles. His production is also third among defensive tackles. His overview is right here by Lance Zierlein. His draft projection was round 2, and his NFL comparison was Aleem McNeil. I personally don't see that at all when watching the film. I understand what they're getting from that, from how like he does win rarely on the pass rush win rate, getting to the quarterback and stuff like that. I read something though, and I did dive into it a little bit deeper. That Tyleik Williams, I think it was this past season, he had to start the first 6 games of the season. He had 7 pressures within the first 6 games. Was it? Um, so Tyleik Williams, like we'll go over. I guess we'll go ahead and read this overview. Drain clogging run defender with violent first contact and nimble feet for impressive tackle production. Williams flashes an ability to play through or around the block. He physically dominates man-on-man matchups, but inconsistent pad level and shorter arms hinder his double team take-ons. He needs to focus on developing his hands to keep longer NFL guards from getting into him and neutralizing his power. Williams should pressure the pocket from time to time, but might not win on his own enough to see many third down reps. The knockback pop and ability to eat up runners in his general vicinity could help him become an impactful run stuffing through technique defensive tackle. His strengths: gritty lower body with big, meaty hands, explosive and violent in initial stages of block take on, punch and release move leaves blocker falling forward. Does a terrific job of locating runners and tackling his gaps. Works laterally with blocks to stay gap solid on stretch plays. Enough snapback quickness and know how to get into edges. Adequate foot quickness for twist game success. His weaknesses: pops up tall and loose, loosest pad level at the point. Shorter arms allow blockers to crowd his frame. Hit or miss holding his ground against double teams. Needs better handwork to neutralize opponent's pass rush and lacks length and lateral slide for quick counters to an edge. Again, I don't really see the Aleem McNeil comparison there. I understand from, again, the slight to slight time that he does pressure the quarterback. I understand because when he does get to the quarterback, he kind of gets to the quarterback the same way Aleem McNeil does. Um, but he just doesn't do it enough consistently to be Aleem McNeil, in my opinion. Aleem McNeil he's a little bit more, not as raw, I guess is the word maybe you want to use. Um, Tyleik Williams, I'll go ahead and give the grade now once we go over the stats. I don't typically, especially this year, like to go off of stats. There's a lot of edge rushers in this draft who have really good stats. Antoine Powell Ryland is one. He had, I believe, 15, 16 sacks last year at Virginia Tech, and like 9 sacks the year before. He is one of my least favorite defensive ends in this whole entire class. Just not a very good get off, not a great first step. Lacks power sometimes. Just he's very inconsistent to me when getting to the quarterback. Not a big fan of him. I think I've ranked as like 27th or 28th out of 30, 33, 34 defensive ends I had ranked. Not as high on the guy. I have him as a late 6th, early 7th round talent. Um, Tyleik Williams, his stats. It's crazy because his stats actually keeps getting worse every single season about. His first year at Ohio State, 5 sacks and 1 forced fumble. Second year, 1 sack. Third year, 3 sacks. And his final year at Ohio State, 2.5 sacks. Um, so, like I said, throughout his first 6 games this past season at Ohio State, his last season, he only had 7 pressures. The guy he's really inconsistent. He just seems about average or above, just slightly above average at every single category he's in. This guy, um, how do I want to put this? This is close to a horrible pick for me for Brad Holmes. Again, if you follow my Twitter, you already know my draft grade. My draft grade for this, it's a D minus. I put it on Twitter as a D. I originally, once we made the pick, immediately thought D minus, and then I'm like, okay, well, obviously the Lions really like this guy for a reason. I'll go ahead and give him a D when I posted that. And then after rewatching this film again today for 20-25 minutes, I had to go back down to a D minus. This is not a good draft pick by the Lions, in my opinion. I'm a guy literally sitting, recording YouTube videos, so I mean I don't know what I'm talking about right now, but to a lot of people, but this guy was not a first round talent in my opinion. This guy was a mid to late second round talent. This is not a good pick by Brad Holmes. Apparently, it's believed that the Philadelphia Eagles were trying to move up with the Detroit Lions to select Jahad Campbell. That Jahad Campbell did end up falling in their laps, which is crazy. Howie Roseman is unreal. Um, I don't understand how they keep getting so many good players every single year. But we remember to trade with them, move back to 32, and Brad Holmes thought it was too risky, so he just decided to go ahead and stay um, at pick 28 and take Tyleik Williams. I always keep thinking Michael Williams, which is who I wish we would have gotten. I'm not even that big of a fan of Michael Williams. So again, this grade for me is a D minus. Apparently, the Bills, according to Tyleik Williams in his press conference today that I haven't even watched yet, really haven't felt like it. Really hasn't synced in that he's even our first round pick yet, just because I never really viewed him as a first round pick at all in this year's draft. Um, I I really hope I'm wrong on this, but this is a bad pick. It's a really, really bad pick to me. The guy just, with how good this defensive tackle class is, I feel like you could have got somebody down the board. Now, a lot of the defensive tackles throughout rounds 1 through 3 have gone off the board. I believe a total of around like 10 or 11 defensive tackles have gone off the board within the first 3 rounds. Joshua Farmer, in my opinion, is the best remaining defensive tackle. I have him ranked as my 10th best defensive tackle item as a late third-round pick. He's the best one still available. But you got a lot of really good fourth, fifth-round defensive tackles out there. Riley Mills, Ty Robinson, a lot of guys like that who can get to the quarterback on a consistent basis, who can sack the quarterback. Now, it might not be as good in the running game, but they can work on it. And I just thought that would have been a better decision than taking Tyleik Williams here, pick 28. It was just with who's available too. I lost my mind. Main reason why I lost my mind was because Mike Green was sitting there. Mike Green is my favorite player that was realistic for the Detroit Lions to get in this draft. I fell in love with Mike Green once I started watching him, not because of his stats, just because I thought he was an unreal player. He's going to be the next Micah Parsons. I'm telling you, the Baltimore Ravens, within 2 years, he's going to be a top 6 pass rusher in the NFL. That's my bold prediction. Mike Green is going to be a top 6 pass rusher in the NFL within the next 2 years. Though apparently he fell to pick 4. He fell to pick 59 to the Baltimore Ravens, which is unreal. So if the Lions would have stayed put at pick 60, which we'll get to in the next video, they wouldn't have been able to get him anyway. But it sounded like the Lions were never even in consideration to take Mike Green. I know they had a formal meeting with him at the combine, but he had off the field issues apparently when it came to like not attitude or anything, but allegations and stuff like that. I'm not going to go into. You can look them up itself. They might be real, they might not. So leave your thoughts in the comments down below. One Pride to Go Lions. I don't want to give my full opinion for rounds 1 through 3 so far. But to say the least, this is, in my opinion, looking to set up to be Brad Holmes' worst draft class so far. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully I'm 100% wrong. I totally could be, but we'll see. One Pride Go Lions. By the way, I'm recording this around at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's why I might seem extremely tired and not giving a full reaction. If you want my full reaction, go check the short that I released yesterday. One Pride Go Lions.